I would say 2015 is probably the year of when the reboots worked, really worked. But there were also some that are not so good. So this is what this is about. Um, we had a lot of films this year. A lot of films, a lot of great films. Um, and also a lot of bad films that were rebooted. And so this isn't really a top 10 list. It's more of a reply vlog on people that are just overly critical on one particular film, but have not thought about the entire year. So let's go back to May. I think it was May. No, it was July of this year, of 2015, where we had something called Terminator Salvation. Terminator Salvation. And we are all primed up and saying, yes, finally Arnold Schwarzenegger's back in the movie that pretty much created his career, Terminator. And they pretty much did a Star Trek reboot kind of thing. And it was bad. Really bad. Horribly bad. Extremely bad. Schwarzenegger, I think, was underused in the film. I was pretty, pretty disappointed in it. And I didn't go in there with high expectations because this was basically another one of those reboots, reimaginations, recreating a new universe, hopefully to create a new franchise kind of thing. It was horrible. It was really freaking horrible. So that kind of like gave our movie going fanboy palates a little bit of a sour taste to it, I must say. Then came Mad Max, Fury Road, with the original director coming back after, I would say, 30 years since Beyond Thunderdome. And Beyond Thunderdome is not the best Mad Max film, I must say. I did not like it whatsoever. Road Warrior was great, had really good kinetic energy to it. Um, the original Mad Max is fantastic. If you want to learn more about the character of Max Rock'n'Towski, Rock and Roller, but and what they did with the budget, what they had, and created a really great kinetic film. But then doing this and taking the time, and that's the most important thing, taking time to make a good film. This movie was in production for 3 years. They spent 18 months filming this thing. 18 months filming. Using practical effects and CGI when needed. So all those car chases were real. And it wasn't the blockbuster that it should have been. Not a lot of people saw it as they should. Hopefully now more people are going to see it because of the award nominations that it's been getting all over time now, since we're now in award season. But and it's a fun film. Mad Max Fury Road is a fun film, and it's good science fiction too. I mean, it's just one of I want to say the best films of the year, and this is not a top 10 list because I have not seen a lot of films this year. I just saw. I mean, I haven't even seen the new James Bond film, Spectre. And with James Bond, I mean, for people who are saying I don't like this new James Bond film or series, the new Daniel Craig James Bonds. I don't think that they've really topped and really know the character. Read the fucking books. Really, read the fucking books. And thank God we don't have another Roger Moore James Bond or another Pierce Brosnan James Bond in his last half of films. He's only made 4 films. But thank God we don't have that anymore. We have a real James Bond where we actually see his scars from past battles. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, this guy, this James Bond, he's this new James Bond, he's a broken man, and he's doing this because for love of country. He's a soldier. That's what he is. So stop it with the criticism that this is not the James Bond I grew up with. Of course not. You grew up with fucking Roger Moore. You want Jaws? Do you want Octopussy? Do you want Christopher Walken in San Francisco? More power to you. Awesome. You know what? I'm sure you liked Terminator Salvation or even fucking Vacation. And that's another point. Vacation. Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. What an abortion. That movie, Vacation, the new Vacation that came out this year, was a fucking abortion. Was not, I mean, it was, I laughed, but not out of enjoyment. I laughed out of awkwardness. This was an awkward movie. I mean, this family in this new Vacation movie is fucked up. I mean, the older brother being picked on by his younger brother, being called a pussy and a faggot. That's not funny. That's not funny at all. Ed Helms should stop. He should get a job at McDonald's. He really should. This was totally miscast. Ed Helms' Rusty was horrible. Christina Applegate was funny. I liked her bits. The sorority reunion, that was funny. But, oh my God, just stop it. Just stop doing that shit. If you don't know the characters, if you don't know the true if you don't know dark humor, which is what the original Vacation was, it was a dark comedy. It looked at suburban life in 1983 and trying to create a family vacation that that Chevy Chase's Clark Griswold probably never had, or probably did have, but wanted to recreate for his kids, who are now these 80s kids who are kind of not really into that thing. It's funny. Vacation with Ed Helms, not so much. And they had to give Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo a day rate to get them into this thing. Say, we want people to have that warm and fuzzy feeling. You can't have a warm and fuzzy feeling with Vacation. Not with any of the Vacation films. They are all dark comedies, including Vegas Vacation. Honestly. Stop it. Just stop it. It was bad. Not funny. Cringe-worthy. I mean, I cringed more than I laughed in that film. And coming out of it, it was like, no, it's one of the worst films of the year, I feel. I really feel that. It really is. But then came Jurassic World. My God, Jurassic World. Jurassic World, I feel, is probably the best sequel to Jurassic Park ever made. It was fun. It was what we wanted. It hit all the notes right. Um, I mean, it was fun. I mean, and that's what this vlog is about. It's like we're starting to have fun in the movies again. Yes, they are reboots or remakes or sequels to films that we haven't seen for a very long time. But I mean, Jurassic World and Mad Max, we had fun with. I mean, we enjoyed going to the movies. We enjoyed watching a film in a communal environment and working off of the audience of what's and reacting to what's on screen as a communal environment. And that's what the movies are. It's a communal thing. It's now to the heart. I mean, you see in the background we have Mad Max. There we are. Mad Max, Terminator, and then we have 2 Star Wars films. And it's been a while. And I wanted to post a blog up once I first saw it on opening night. But I wanted to wait and for more people to see it. It's now been 2 weeks since release date. And now it's time. And I've been looking on the internet and seeing people's reactions 2 weeks after the initial reaction. And I've seen it a couple times too. Yeah, I'm talking about Force Awakens. So, and the reason why I did this vlog is because of one thing that I saw on yourmoviesucks.org. I mean, randomly on YouTube, I saw this guy's reaction. And he liked the film, but then he criticized that it had similar plot points to the original Star Wars. And his reaction was, what, this again? This again. This again. Is there no pleasing you, people? Is there no pleasing you? You're bitching about a film that has similar plot points, not an entire remake of this film. And you're saying, what? This again? This started not only a great franchise, but also it begat the summer blockbuster. I mean, you can say Jaws started it. Yeah, this solidified it. This got people back to going to the movies, just like The Force Awakens has been doing in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, it's already surpassed Jurassic World and Titanic. It's now going up to Avatar. People are going back to the movies because of Star Wars. That's fucking important. And you're complaining that we have to blow up another Death Star. We have to rescue another girl from the Death Star. But she's also this loner from a desert planet. And her mentor dies on this new Death Star. Those are the only plot points that are retreaded. The rest of this movie, this, dare I say, masterpiece of a film, masterpiece of popcorn entertainment, masterpiece of what is right with film, what brings people to movie theaters, what is reinvigorating a box office that has been stale since Avatar. Since Avatar. We have not seen a response from audiences since Avatar. Get this through your skull. This is what pisses me off. People are nitpicking on this film. Granted, there are nitpicks. J.J. Abrams has the same alien, has the same original alien, just like Steven Spielberg has the same original alien. And J.J. Abrams did put that alien into Star Wars with the Rathnars. Yes. I get that. It's a nitpick. Plot points retreaded from Star Wars and also retreaded from Empire Strikes Back. Nitpicks. You're lucky we don't have Ewoks. You're lucky we don't have a 45-minute prologue before we get into the fucking story with Return of the Jedi. You're lucky that you're nitpicking about Force Awakens having 3 or 4 similar plot points to the one that started it all, yet Return of the Jedi had no story. We go and rescue Han, and then we battle the Death Star. That was the story. That was it. Oh yeah, and redeeming Darth Vader too. That was it. 3 plot points in that thing, and that thing was the longest movie in the original trilogy. This thing reinvigorated the box office, a failing box office. This thing made movies fun again, just like Force Awakens is making movies fun again. And by God, it is. And, I mean, another thing, lifelong Star Wars fan. Lifelong. Shit. Yeah. Original cuts on Laserdisc. Yeah. Month into the film, before Force Awakens was released, I gave all 6 Star Wars films to a friend of mine who's never seen them all. Never. And I said, watch them. Let me know what you think. A week ago, she gave them back to me. And she's 17 years old. And I asked her, so what do you think is the best one? You know what she said? The same answer everyone says. She saw Force Awakens. What'd you think? I loved it. Better than Empire? No. Better than Star Wars? No. Better than Return of the Jedi? Yep. This film is very important. Very important. Because kids are seeing this. Just like kids were seeing the prequels, but the prequels were, as a Star Wars fan for life, who grew up on the original trilogy, were disappointing. For some kids, this is their first Star Wars film. And what better way to introduce them to this universe than with The Force Awakens? And having fun watching it. And knowing some of the story. Because everyone knows about Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, General Leia, and Han Solo, and Chewbacca, and R2-D2, C-3PO. Everyone knows about those main characters. Young and old. 5-year-olds know these characters, but haven't seen the movies. And this is their first introduction to them. So, now there's a mystery to Luke Skywalker right there. Who is this guy? Where did he come from? Well, we've got 3 movies. We've got 3 movies to tell that story. And they love that character even more, even though he was only in the movie for like 3 minutes, with no lines, but just staring with this mechanical hand. How did he get that mechanical hand? Well, we all know that, but the kids don't. And for someone to say about the similar plot points with Force Awakens to Star Wars as, oh, what, that again? Fuck you. YourMovieSucks.org. Fuck you. Just fuck you. And I'm sorry for the language. I'm sorry for the coarse fucking language, but that's my initial reaction. Fuck you for saying that, oh my god, we're retreating Star Wars. This movie that brought audiences back to the theaters, that made movies fun again. What? Do you want to be depressed when spending $12 in a movie theater, seeing the degradation of the human spirit, watching Taxi Driver or Raging Bull or frickin' depressing films, The Deer Hunter? Yes, they're great films. I love all those films that I just mentioned, but they're not for all audiences. You want to watch depressing films? Watch fucking Sweet Movie. Watch Salo, for God's sakes. If you just want to be depressed while watching a film. I don't. I want to be entertained. And that's what Star Wars does. That's what Star Wars does for me. It entertains me. It makes me feel fun. Feel fun. That's weird to say. It's a fun film. And I'm tired of all these people. And friends of mine, saying that it's not that great because it's not that original and JJ is just doing the same thing he did with Star Trek. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. JJ with Star Trek wanted to make Star Wars. Star Trek Into Darkness was a fun film up until it started to get all Wrath of Connie. But he wanted to make a Star Wars film. Super 8 was his first original film. And it's magical. This guy knows how to make movies. This guy knows how to entertain an audience in the movie theater. And give him some credit for that. Fuck, I mean, the box office. I mean, in 1999, when Phantom Menace was released, we were hoping, us Star Wars fanboys were hoping and pleading that Phantom Menace would kick Titanic's ass. It didn't. And you know why? Because it sucked. It was fun. But yet we still had that thing that us fanboys had, that thing where it was like, did we really see what we just saw? And we had to see it again, just to be sure. Well, god damn it. It just kicked Titanic's ass this weekend. Star Wars The Force Awakens did. And in another week, it's going to kick Avatar's ass. In 3 weeks, it's going to be the #1 movie domestically of all time. That's saying something. That's fucking saying something. That's saying that Star Wars is back for good. And audiences, general audiences, not just fanboys, are seeing it. And another great point, because I saw it first on opening night with my best friend. And he cried. I cried. From tears of joy. And from what happens in the story. I mean, it's just a fast-paced, dense story. And the feel of Star Wars was back in that first thing. And then for Christmas, I brought my family to it. I bought all the tickets. We saw it in IMAX 3D. Real IMAX. I mean, the real 7-story screen and everything like that. Not this IMAX TM thing that they have going on now, but true IMAX. We sat 3 rows back, still great seats, in 3D, and we watched it. And my sister-in-law said, God damn it, I wish I saw this when I was 10. Because Rey is such a strong character. This is what I'm getting at. Star Wars is not for boys anymore. It's a family affair. Now, I'm not going into what's going to happen next. I'm not going into fan theories because that's not what I do. I'm just reacting. Because I'm pissed off now. I'm pissed off because this is finally the Star Wars film that we've been waiting for since 1983. This is the best Star Wars product since 1983. Right? Keep in mind I say product. Because that's what it is. It's a product. It's a great story. And they've added on to that story. I mean, 1983, that was fun. Not the best of the original trilogy. It is number 3 in the original trilogy. I think people are wanting a new Empire Strikes Back every time that they see Star Wars films. It's not going to happen. We were hoping that with Attack of the Clones, and my God, were we fucking bored. And that's from Lucas. But that's the thing with Star Wars. It's not a solo affair. Pun intended. It's a communal thing. I mean, why was Star Wars so great? After the rough cut, they saw it, and they said, my God, we're in trouble. So Lucas went in and hired other editors to edit the film and create a more kinetic feel to it. He had other people, including his ex-wife, Marcia, to make it better, because he knew it was bad. Phantom Menace came around. He was surrounded by yes men. Attack of Clones, surrounded by yes men. It wasn't until Revenge of the Sith when he finally said, well, I'm having this guy, the secret director, come in and direct this sequence for me. Actually, a couple sequences. Happened to be Spielberg. Uncredited. And because of that, Revenge of the Sith was the best of the prequels. Because he noticed that, Lucas noticed that, you know what, I can't do this on my own. I'm an independent vision, but my vision is not really going with the fans. But this is my thing. And that's another thing. I mean, a friend of mine who I've known for all my life was about ready to was boycotting this new film, The Force Awakens, because they jettisoned the expanded universe books. They're not canon anymore. And I understand his sentiment because, I mean, he and I both like a series of books about the kids and Jason Solo, who turns into a Sith after being trained by Luke. You see what I'm getting at here? Yeah. After seeing the film at the first time that he could at 7 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday evening on the 17th, he messaged me and said, that was pretty damn good. Totally surprised. I loved it because it took some of the lore from the expanded universe and brought it into canon. I mean, there is now a Jason Solo sort of guy who's named Ben, which that is my one confusion on, because, I mean, Ben has no connection to the Solos or Princess Leia. He's more connected to Luke. But, okay, cool, awesome. I mean, I think Anakin would probably be on the nose, even though in the expanded universe, Han and Leia did name their youngest kid, Anakin, who was killed. Spoilers if you haven't read the books. But anyway, it's I really do think that people are so used to hating new Star Wars that they're trying to find things to hate. And why? I mean, when the prequels came out, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was the biggest supporter of them. I talked to people and said, you know, yeah, they're not as good as Star Wars, but that's because there's no human character for us regular guys to. There's no Han Solo. We have a Han Solo now, and it's not Han Solo. It's Rey and Finn and Poe, and that's awesome. I mean, and I mean, I really do think. I mean, not being racist whatsoever, but I do feel that Finn is more of a Roger Murtaugh from the Lethal Weapon series. He had that feel to it. I mean, it's still fun, but he just reminded me so much of Danny Glover's portrayal of Roger Murtaugh in the Lethal Weapon series. He has that charm, and it's fun, and the new characters are fun, and I didn't feel bad that I didn't see a classic character until 45 minutes into the film. And that first reveal of that classic character was fantastic. Just fantastic. I, of course, I'm talking about the Millennium Falcon, not Han Solo. Um, but it just made me feel, after watching Force Awakens for the first time and the second time, it just made me feel happy. Star Wars is back in the popular culture. I mean, before Thanksgiving, I walk through the toy aisle of Target whenever I go to Target and looking at the new Star Wars toys and seeing the shelf filled. After Christmas, shelves were bare. That was great. That was great to see. Kids are eating this thing up more than with the prequels. And that's the beauty of it. I mean, this is now being passed on. I mean, I wish I had kids so that I could watch this new movie with and see the delight in their eyes. I went to a New Year's Eve party last night and I talked to a kid who just saw Force Awakens for the first time, and it was his first Star Wars film, and he loved it. And that's the beauty of this. I mean, it's not ours as a generation anymore. It's a multi-generational thing. I mean, Star Wars is now, hate to say this, it's now like Mickey Mouse. Now like the Disney characters. Now like Bugs Bunny. I mean, we pass it on. We say, oh, you like Wabbit? That's great. Here, watch some Looney Tunes. Enjoy this. And that's the beauty of this thing. That's the beauty of what's going on now. I mean, we're now passing it on to a new generation. I mean, Fury Road, Mad Max Fury Road, even though that's Beyond Thunderdome, we're passing that on to a new generation. We're passing these legends on, these stories. It's like Davy Crockett and telling tall tales around the campfire, but now we're in a movie theater. And that's the beautiful thing about franchises done right, I think. Because we passed it on to a new generation. I mean, we're disappointed with Terminator Genesis because it wasn't a good film, and kids aren't going, oh, Terminator, like we were when we were kids, or when we saw Terminator 2. It's like, that's badass. I mean, we're not doing. The kids aren't doing that, but they are with these two, and with Jurassic World. So take that into your heart. we are, and I think that this summer at the movies really showed us, is really inspiring the younger generation to think about a career in the film, doing whatever, creating a new love for film. Because, I mean, this movie made me want to get into film. This movie made me want to make films, and I've done that. And if you've seen my films, if you've seen 20th Day of the Wrath of Steph, in the third act, it's totally the same beats as Star Wars. More like Return of the Jedi. But still, I mean, it has the same story structure. I mean, these movies inspired me to get into film. And these new movies that are coming out, be it Fury Road or the new Star Wars, that's going to inspire kids, a new generation, to pick up a camera and start shooting. And my God, it's so easy now. Get a bunch of friends together and just start shooting and start experimenting and learning editing and learning this craft that is an art form now. It really has become an art form. And makes me hopeful for the future. I'm Zack Scott. I'll see you. I don't know what I'm going to do now, the latest memories. Maybe I'll just do these vlogs. But I'll see you on the next one.